Boom! We are off with another episode of Booze Your Daddy, the podcast. I'm Dr. Alan Snyder, and I'm here with my new BFF, Blair Foxworthy. How are you, Blair?
Hi, I'm good. How are you, Alan?
I am doing very well. I am so excited to have you on today's show. You have your own podcast, which we're definitely going to talk about, but you have a very interesting perspective on things. Maybe that's not the best way of saying that, but you used to work
At Disney World.
at Disney World, Disney World, just to be specific.
Right, Disney World in Orlando, Florida.
Yes, we're both East Coasters, which is easy. But you know how people get so bent out of shape when you say one and they meant the other?
Oh, very much so.
Yeah, definitely. So before we get into the meat and potatoes of everything, I'm thirsty. You're very thirsty. Why don't you tell everybody what you're drinking today during the show?
I'm really kind of boring. I just have a Michelob Ultra infusion, lime and prickly pear cactus.
It's beautiful. It is lime and pear infused.
Prickly pear.
So no lime?
Yeah, lime and prickly pear.
All right, Blair, this was meant to be. Lime is my favorite color. Lime is my favorite fruit. Everything I do in my life is lime and lime green, people who know me. So beautiful. That sounds delicious. I've never had it, but I do look forward to trying that at some point. I am drinking another KCBC Kings County Brewers Collective Superhero Sidekicks IPA. It is super craft beer. People give me these presents to drink, so I will drink them. But I thought it would be very applicable because, if we're going to be talking Disney stuff today, I don't know if it's quite superheroes. That might be a little bit more of the other DC Marvel stuff, but some people think Mickey's a superhero. So I
agree.
Very good. All right. I'm going to release the crack and cheers to you.
Cheers to you.
All right. That is hoppy. Okay. Yeah. Good stuff. So talk to me. You're in Indiana now. What's your story? How did you get to Disney World and how are you in Indiana? Like, where'd you grow up and how'd you get to Disney?
I grew up in Indiana. I'm from here. I've been here my whole life, except for that time I lived in Florida. My backstory was I wanted to be a nurse, but I've always loved Disney World. So I was in college and I saw a flyer about the Disney College program, signed up, got taken, lived down there for about a year, and then I recruited for about 5 years after that with the Disney College program. But I came home to Indiana because my family's here and it was just hard. I would have stayed in Orlando. I tell you, I would go back tomorrow if I could. But came back here, finished a degree, did not go to nursing school, stayed in health, was a professor for 10 years here at a college here
Professor?
in Indiana.
How old are you? You look like you're in your 20s.
Hi, love you. No, I will be 35 here in just a couple weeks.
Oh, get out of here. I'm still older than you. Okay. All right. You're still a youngin' to me.
Well, I appreciate that.
But you do look great for a Professor Blair Foxworthy.
Yes, I was Professor Foxworthy for about 10 years. In health sciences, I was the program chair for the medical assisting program. Loved every minute of that. I loved teaching, but it was just kind of time to step back. So now I'm a travel agent. And I help make people's travel dreams come true. I specialize, of course, in Disney. I do a little bit of Universal on the side. And then, gosh, what else? Then I started the podcast with a couple girls from the travel agency. And boy, it's just taken off. It's been a dream. It's a blast. And now here we are with you.
Well, that's awesome. And like I said, we'll definitely plug it and I will check it out. So you said you did a little Universal on the side. Is that like taboo? Is that kind of like, the dark web? Like I'm a Disney character, but I also do a little Universal.
Well, so I do now a little, like I can sell it. I can set you up for it. I have to admit to you though, I told you I'm 35 years old. I was 19 when I did the college program. And until this past February, have never been off of Disney's property ever.
Wow.
Yeah. I've, been to downtown Orlando and whatnot, but I have never done anything outside of the Disney bubble. And really, gosh, why would I? When I worked there, it was free. It was literally your backyard. So you walked into it whenever you wanted, except for, of course we couldn't go specific times, but there was no reason to. And especially as a broke college student, I'm not paying to go somewhere else. So this past February, we went to Universal for our agency's retreat, and that's truly the only reason I went. And I have to tell you, I've had a blast. I've been back twice since then. The podcast girls and I went just as COVID started opening things back up, and we went. And it is really cool, especially if you're a Harry Potter fan.
Yeah, I see your shirt says Team Slytherin,
Yeah.
which
Yes.
I'm a huge Harry Potter nerd, and I actually admit to people, everybody wants to be in Gryffindor.
Everyone.
I'm a Slytherin. Like, if you think about what a Slytherin is and how they think and how they move, like, I'm a Slytherin. Like, I am. I'm not.
Yes, I'm not. Not all were bad.
That's
Not all of them.
somewhere. We have here, I live in New York City, and we have The Cursed Child, the play. I don't know if that's made its rounds around the world yet. If you haven't seen it, definitely go. And they have the flags, and you get to take a picture with the flags you want. And I went with my best friend. We did the all-day thing because it's a 2-part show. You can go on like a Monday night and then see part 2 on a Tuesday night. We did the all-day Wednesday afternoon, went to Olive Garden in between Times Square, and then we went to the Wednesday night show, and it's a long day, but you get to pick a flag to take a picture with. And he, of course, I think he grabbed the Gryffindor. I was like, I waited until the person done with the Slytherin was done with their flag, because I wanted, that's who I am. And if you know me, I'm very sly and cunning and smart and good looking. I don't know if that was a Slytherin thing.
Absolutely, they all are.
Yeah. So I think that's really cool that you did. Now, when you were at the park, did you have a specific job?
I did. I worked on Thunder Mountain. I was a miner. I have a picture if you want me to send it to you. It was the scariest costume in all of Disney World. No, I'm kidding. It really was awful. But yeah, I was a miner on Thunder Mountain.
Wow. I had an ex-girlfriend that I used to be a miner on Thunder Mountain as well.
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway, look at you, got you laughing. You're a good audience. So was that what you wanted to do? What did you hope to do? What was your dream job at the park?
So remember, I was 19 and I had braces at the time. I had them kind of late in life. But anyway, I really wanted to be friends with the princesses. That's what they call friends of the face characters. I wanted to be Cinderella. And I did. I went through like that whole process. And then they were like, oh, wait, you have braces. It's not going to work. So ended up, I really wanted to be on the Great Movie Ride in what is now Hollywood Studios, but then was MGM. And turns out I actually was slated to be, like, you could request what you really, really wanted to do. But they were, of course, very upfront. Just because you want it doesn't mean you're going to get it. So I ended up on Thunder because Frontierland needed the most people. So,
Gotcha.
But it worked out. It was still a blast. I made some amazing friends that I still am friends with today. One of the hardest parts of doing the college program was, you're shoved into these little spaces with these people from all over the country, really, but and then you're torn away from them. And so that was hard to come home to and not have those people that you were so used to. And we're still all friends. I mean, we used to do a reunion every couple years, and we kind of fell out of that just because kids and families and whatnot. But Thunder, I'm still thankful for it. It was still a blast.
That's nice. We had in college, one of my guy friends got married basically senior year as he was graduating. He was getting ready to go to law school down there at Stetson. And his fiance, who turned into wife, was going to work at the park. And she had dreams of becoming Cinderella. And she was a tiny little cute blonde girl, not the most physically gifted in the face area, but she ended up, I think, had some enhancements. Go ahead.
Makeup is it'll cure it.
Nah, it was going to take a lot of makeup for this girl. I'm just saying, like, I guess she had a great personality, but like I said, she had a set of personality installed into her chest region. So I don't know if that helped, but we have an inside joke in our friend group that is one of the funniest things ever, because when she talked about going down to Disney World and becoming a princess or working at the studio, one of my guy friends who's short on words out of nowhere one day goes, maybe she could be the voice of doors closing. And to this day, that is still one of the biggest inside jokes in our friends, because I have no idea where she is, what she's doing, or whatever happened, but I'm pretty sure she's not Cinderella.
Probably not. They don't make shit for money, so I hope she's not.
No. I'm curious, working at the park.
Yes.
You have a lot of good stories.
I have so many good stories.
So before you get into one, I just have one quick thing is, what is your biggest pet peeve when you were working there? What was the pet peeve that the people did? And maybe go into your story.
My biggest pet peeve.
Like, I'm sure there were people when you were working there, because everybody at their job has a typical, I'm a physical therapist, and people go, hey, can you just massage me for an hour? It's like, no, that's not what we do.
Oh, my favorite is always, I think will always be people that came up to you and would ask, hey, Alan, what time's the 3:00 parade today?
How high is the 50-foot wall?
Yeah, exactly. What time is the 3:00 parade? And, it took all you had after the 10th time of being asked that in one day to not say, I don't know, I think it's at 6 tonight. What do you mean? What time is the 3:00 parade?
That's great.
Back when I worked there, though, we had fast passes, like the paper ones, and now that's changed, and then it's changed again since COVID. But my biggest pet peeve was always people that would try to break that system and would try to come in early. And one of my best stories, this is gonna make me sound like a really big bitch, and it's okay, I'll admit it. But one of my best stories was this. It was on Christmas, and people think Disney on Christmas is gonna be nobody's gonna be there. It's gonna be
Oh no. Oh no,
no.
it's the opposite. I just paid for Christmas for my family. I have a niece and two nephews, and they were going down to Orlando, on a cruise, and they were just going to stay outside the park. And I said, you cannot take them there and not take them inside. And of course, Disney, it's like the freaking stock market. The price of the tickets go up based on demand. And I shelled out a lot of money for my niece and two nephews on Christmas Day, and they locked down the park at one point because it was at capacity.
Yep. Can you imagine? That's 100,000 people in one spot in a Disney World park. Nope. And I worked on I worked on Christmas Day, and I remember walking out of our door where we came up from there are underground tunnels. They're called utilidors. And I remember walking out because I came in later that day. I think we're open till like 1 or 2 or something. And it was just massive. I mean, it was just a wall of people. And it took me probably half an hour to make a 5-minute walk from the door in Frontierland all the way over to, it was awful. Ugh, no, thank you. But anyway, so these 2 younger guys that tried somehow skipping into the fast pass line instead of the regular line, and they got up to me, and I made them turn around and go back out the way they came, and instead of going out through the line, they jumped over into the ride. And yeah. Yeah, so I caught them though. I caught them, and I called down to have security come, and they met them at the entrance to where the ride comes, and the entire way, finally, so I got him and I made him come back in through the line and walked them back. And the entire way I'm screaming, congratulations, everybody. Clap for these 2 guys that have just made this line an hour longer than what it needed to be.
That is great.
That's awful. But again, don't ruin it for other people. That Disney is magical and it's wonderful. And I go in 24 days. I'm taking my son. And I can't wait. But don't expect people to make the magic for you. You make your own magic. And not only that, but the nicer you are to those cast members and the people that work there, the more magic you're going to get. So there you have it.
That's a great life lesson. I really appreciate that. So why don't you share with us now an interesting story? I'm sure you have some time that somebody really put their foot in their mouth or something interesting that happened at Disney, because you said you have stories for days.
I have a couple. I'll try to keep them as clean as possible if you want.
I told you can say what you want to say.
Okay. All right. So we used to have what were called Nights of Joy, and they were when they don't do these anymore. And this is probably why. This was when they had some Christian rock bands that would come in, and they'd close the park down. It was a hard ticketed event, and parents would drop their kids off that were, high school-ish age, and be like, high five, have fun, go do what you want. And when kids that age are not supervised, what do they do?
It's just drugs and sex.
Screw around. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. So there used to have to be a guard placed outside of the family bathroom because people would get in there together and drugs and sex. And then another time on Haunted Mansion. So you sit down in the dune buggies in the Haunted Mansion, right? And the lap bar comes down for you. So it was a girl and a boy, and I don't think they realized that the lap bar was coming down, because there was a girl that then got her head stuck in the guy's crotch the entire ride.
Wait a minute. Are we talking about what I think we're talking about right now?
And you know what? That's like quick. Like as soon as you take off and there's a cast member not by you anymore, she had to go for that.
Oh my God. That is incredible. Talk about that was quick. Now, I'm just thinking, here from the physical therapy point of view, did she have to do any work, or did the machine bounce enough that,
I think she had to be. Once that lap bar came down, I don't think she was mobile. I think she was stuck there.
Oh, that reminds me of growing up with my little cousins, where I'd put my hand on their head when they'd try to come forward, and they would just kind of aimlessly swing their arms in the air. I feel like that girl would just have a lap bar on her neck and kind of like, help, help, help. And if your hands are in the air, you're clearly not doing it right.
Yep. That's one of my best, I think.
Now, I only hope that was one of those rides where you get to take a picture at the end, because I would have, if I worked there at the park, I would have bought that picture of that person and framed that puppy on the wall.
Heck yeah, man.
That is amazing. That is so freaking funny.
So shortly after that, I think they canceled those events, and I promise you that's why.
Yeah, Christian rocks. Okay, good stuff.
Yeah. Yep. So, I worked on Thunder, and, lots of people don't think safety wise, right? There's cameras all over that park, and all of the attractions, even the dark attractions where you think people can't see you. No, you're being watched. And it's especially because, you don't want somebody to jump out like they did on Splash one time. They jumped out of Splash and they got their foot caught and drug underneath one of the boats and died.
Yikes.
So people don't really think, though, about safety, and they don't really think that they're being watched. So on Thunder, during a night of joy, you're going up one of the lifts, and all of a sudden you kind of see the same thing. Like this, we called it the Bat Cave, that first lift. There's a guy and a girl sitting there, and they were in the back, and the next thing you know, the girl's head's gone. It's like, my God, there's a whole train of people in front of you. Are you kidding me?
Wow. Well, you said at Disney you have to make the magic happen. Sounds like some of these guys and girls exactly what they were doing.
Yep.
Wow. God bless. Now, I'm curious, is there a number? This is morbid as hell. How many deaths per year at the theme parks? It's got to be a couple, right? Every year, no matter what?
So nobody really dies at Disney.
You just literally said somebody died.
I know, but nobody really dies there. They take them somewhere else, and then they die.
So what are we calling this? Deaths related to attending?
Yeah, I don't really know. I don't know that statistic.
Yeah, they probably don't publish that in their the pamphlets, huh?
It's not really something they're really going to be proud of. No.
Wow. So I guess I asked you before about pet peeves. Now, I'm specifically wearing a shirt here today that says, "Oh, ship. It's a family trip," which is something my sister made when we did a cruise. And when she went to Disney, they made their custom Disney shirts with the mom and the dad and the kid. That annoys the piss out of me when I go.
Really?
Oh, it's not cute. It's annoying.
Oh, it is cute. Alan, it is cute. So the shirt that I have on, my Slytherin Quidditch team, I made those, and I made them for all of the podcast girls for when we went. And at the bottom, you can't see it, but it says TM, so Talk Magic to Me cup. And we got more comments on those cups or these shirts because they're cute.
Yeah, being cute girls. Girls always thinks it's the closing. Sometimes just when you're a cute girl, people are going to talk to you. Just P.S. Take notice.
Okay.
All right. So Blair, again, I don't know if you're familiar with the format of the show there. We did our beers. We told our stories. But the end of the podcast is always a trivia game. And I don't know if you were ready for it or not. But I have 5 Disney-related trivia questions for you.
Hope I get them right.
It's okay. I'm very generous. Nobody's keeping track. You don't have to beat anybody. But we're going to go through a couple of things. And like I said, just if you can get close to the answer, I'm going to help you out. Cool?
Cool. Deal.
All right. Disney trivia. Question number 1. How many theme parks are in the total Disney realm, sphere. I don't know what you call it. Now, just to kind of give you a little clue what I'm asking for here, like in Orlando, there's more than one. So it's the locations times the amount of parks. You just have to get within 2 of the correct answer, and I will give you full credit.
Well, there's 4 in Orlando. There's 2 in California. There's Disneyland Paris that's got 2. Tokyo Disney that's got 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think 12.
12 is the correct answer.
Woo!
Right on the money. Everything you said was correct. 2 Tokyo, 2 Disneyland Resort, 4 Disney World, 2 Disneyland Paris, 1 Hong Kong Disney, and 1 Shanghai Disney. Very nice.
God, woo! Shanghai was actually just opening when I worked there. So it's a gorgeous park. They were hawking that majorly for people to go work there.
Yeah. We kind of talked before. I didn't get a chance to really tell you that I went to Hong Kong Disney.
Yeah.
It is a child's park. And there's some, like Universal, you can go to is badass. Universal has some great rides for all ages.
It really does.
Hong Kong Disney, there was maybe one ride there that I kind of said like, wee, but it was a really childish type of park. And not to mention the food there, like was just, you're eating like hot Asian food on a hot day. It was not for me. It was one of those places I would never go back to, where I definitely would revisit Disney World, Disneyland type of thing.
Sure. One of the only reasons I would ever really want to go is because they have some of the best merchandise. They get Chip and Dale stuff all the time that none of the parks in the US do. So, but I have heard that. I've heard that it's not Disney's best work.
It's not. I was in Beijing, I was in Hong Kong and Macau, and why not? Right there, might as well go check it out. And it was a quick 30-minute subway ride or something. But congratulations, you are 1 for 1 on the trivia.
Woo!
Question number 2. How many dwarves, and name them?
7 dwarfs. Sleepy, Doc, Grumpy, Sneezy, Dopey, Bashful, and crap. I don't know.
Happiest place on earth.
Happy. Duh.
6 out of 7 is pretty good. I wonder what the normal is. I'm going to ask my co-host and see how many she does. All right. Full warning. The questions are going to get a little harder, but you'll be okay. Number 4. What is Sleeping Beauty's first name?
Aurora.
Okay. That's an easy one because that's a stupid movie. Question number 4. Which TGIF alum is the voice of Aladdin? We're talking about the first movie, Aladdin.
Oh, God.
I'll take his real name or his character's name.
Which what alum?
TGIF. One jump ahead of the Brahma. Dun, 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 dun.
His face.
What TV show was he on?
I don't know.
Okay, he was on Full House.
It's not Alan something, is it?
No, Alan is me, or Alan Thicke, which is on Growing Pains.
I don't know.
It was the guy. It was DJ's boyfriend who went by Steve Hale. His real name was, I think, Scott Winger or something like that effect.
Man.
All right. And the last question I have for you, the last question here today: how many fingers does Mickey have? I'm going with per hand here, not total.
Well, he has a thumb and then 3 other fingers, so 4 on each hand.
4 is the correct answer. Good job.
Woo!
I would have maybe second guessed myself if he had a thumb. Like I probably would have guessed 3 or 4 just because, just being like, I don't know, 4, 3.
The only reason I know my son is obsessed with Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Obsessed. So, in fact, I was surprised. A couple of the girls from the podcast surprised me with a trip to Disney for my birthday. I had no idea it was coming. So Jackson and I made a whole calendar yesterday, and all we did were stickers of Mickey. And so I looked at him all afternoon yesterday.
Gotcha. Your son's name is Jackson, and you made a whole. I thought that was going to be like a Jackson Hole thing, which I hope you get a chance to take him there and buy all the merch. Just
Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah, like my nephew's name is Carson, and one day I'm going to take him to Carson City. And like when he first found out that Carson City was a real place, he's like, they named a city after me. That is pretty cool. Where's Jackson? Missouri? South Carolina?
I think Missouri. I think you're right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you killed trivia. I'm very surprised how well you did there. This has been a lot of fun. I want you to tell people about your podcast and tell us where you can find it.
So Talk Magic to Me is the podcast. It's myself and 5 other ladies from Magic Vacations, which is our travel agency.
That's not a lot of people on one podcast?
It can be. It can. There's sometimes, one of us will step off. We have a Star Wars episode coming up, and none of us all are on that. But it's really, it makes it fun because of the differing backgrounds. And I mean, because I have a son. Dana has 3 daughters. Casey is married. And then the other 2 girls are younger, Kayla and, Kayla and Sydney. They're 24 and 25. And then we have Erin, and she's my age as well, and she's a coach for a high school. So we have a lot of solo trips, we have a lot of family, and then we have just, girls trips and what's not. So it's fun to get those differing backgrounds, and our episodes are only about 35 to 40 minutes tops. So a really good car ride. But really just all kinds of different Disney things, whatever you would like to know. We probably are going to cover it. I said we have Star Wars one coming up. We have a cast member story episode coming up where I had some of my friends come on, and it's hilarious. I had to edit that one out desperately because of some of the different stories that they told. We have, we talk about some of the resorts and the especially now with COVID and how it's changed the parks, how to kind of navigate that. And we banter a lot. It's just a lot of fun. So we're on every major podcast streaming service, including Apple and Spotify. We're on iHeart, Google, all of those. And always make sure and check out our social media. We have a lot of fun stuff going on there as well.
Awesome. Well, I'm definitely going to tag you on that. Make magic happen.
Oh, Talk Magic to Me.
Talk Magic to Me. Make magic happen on Talk Magic to Me. Blair, thank you so much for coming on to my show. I appreciate everybody listening to us. I love what you said there. You said it's like a short car ride, because that's kind of what I do. I shoot for 25 to 35 minutes, just a nice sweet spot in there. I'm a big podcast listener. I'm definitely going to check it out.
Good.
Blair, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me, Alan. This was a blast.
This was good. Great. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Make sure you download our episodes. Give us a great rating. Hit the subscribe. And we'll catch you later when we're making magic happen.
And talking magic to me, yes.